What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this, I want to give you guys a quick update on the markets in Tesla. Please note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. Deposit $100 in your guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $1,000 in your guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. Anyways, so for Tesla, I just want to say that one thing that's worth noting for Tesla is the fact that we still have this inverse head and shoulders. So far, it still is valid. We haven't lost critical support yet. And the reason for that is because of this. So if you take this yellow trend line right over here, what you will see is that Tesla has not lost this yet. We still have these supports that Tesla's holding. We haven't lost this big yellow trend line that's our main support that Tesla's been riding for this last couple of weeks. So if Tesla were to hypothetically lose this like 210 area, if we do lose that and we start dipping for 208, I'm going to be a little bit more concerned that I could be looking for a bigger dump. But in my personal opinion, I don't think the market's going to dump much harder for the time being. I think that there might be a bounce attempt coming very soon. Now, is it possible for us to dump more in October? Yes, we could. There could be more, dumping coming later on, but temporarily, the market may attempt a small bounce. I think that's going to likely happen soon. That could also help Tesla. Now, I also find this to be very interesting. I didn't see too much major news that came out for Tesla. We were up so much only to come back down, which just goes to show how Wall Street love to trade this and make money off of it. So for Tesla, yes, we look bearish. We could dip a little bit more. Sure, that's fine. But we haven't lost the critical supports just yet. So you can't turn way too bearish yet. You can't say Tesla's going to crash to 180, 160 or anything like that until we lose this support. So we haven't lost 210 yet. We haven't lost 208 yet. This entire support zone is going to be very critical for Tesla. And we'll see if we try to get a bounce off that area or not. On the 4-hour time frame, we have 212 as our support. We're still holding that. If we get a bounce off this, we're going to be looking for 215 as our resistance, followed by 218. So watch that very, very carefully. For SPY, we are dipping right now, but I presume what's going to happen is we're going to be looking for a bottom soon. So when you look at the weekly chart, you will notice that SPY has our 20 EMA at 538. This could be where SPY attempts to bounce. We could try to bounce off this, or it could be that the bottom's already in. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I presume what's going to happen is we come down either a little bit lower if the low is not in already, and we see a little rebound attempt as soon as next week by either Monday, if not the middle of next week, possibly. Maybe after the CPI report, that's going to be our catalyst. So we'll see. But I think there's going to be a bounce attempt coming soon. I think that we've dropped really hard, and I think that we are oversold. We are due for an attempt to rebound. We could also be looking at our gaps. So if we were to lose 538, it is possible. Okay, if 538 fails us, we could come down to fill the gap towards like 534 and then get the bounce, which isn't super far away from someone that's trying to like swing and stuff. But I don't think it's going to be dropping for much longer. I think that this drop may last another couple of days at the longest before we see another attempt to rebound. Because you have to remember that the market was rallying really hard over the last couple of weeks. And then if you look at just a couple of like 5, 6 days ago, SPY was actually pushing to all-time highs, then just started dumping. So I'm just trying to say that they could still pump this up. Like if there's no tomorrow. Don't underestimate the power of Wall Street and their manipulation. So I presume what's going to happen is we dip a little bit more, we could be getting close to 538. It is possible before we get that rebound, but there will be a rebound coming very soon, in my personal opinion, back up to like the mid 540s, if not the 550 area. Nvidia is dipping right now. We're losing this key support. So it is possible Nvidia dips a little bit more towards that 100 area. We did touch 100, which is a big area. And you'll see that on the daily, we came very close to our target. When you look at the 4-hour time frame, we did dip below this channel that Nvidia has, but we're going to be looking at this 100 area as a very, very key support. We'll see if we get bought back up from 100 or not. We came very close to 100 already, so it is possible we dip a little bit more before we try to get that bounce, but so far we haven't lost 100. Bitcoin is dipping quite a bit to about the 53,000 area, but just know that the main support for Bitcoin tends to be closer to about between 50,000 and 52,000. We do see a lot of buyers step in around those areas. So it is possible that the market dips a little bit more. So does Bitcoin before we try to get our bounce. So watch and see how well we end up holding up. The QQQ also filled its critical gap. We filled the gap down around 450. And we're going to be looking to see how well we hold our next support area. So I think that we're approaching this very, very key level right here, the 448 area. I think what's so critical about this is this. This is also very, very close to where our support is. But also this zone right here, this zone right over here around this 445 to 448 area, this is going to be a test of previous resistance becoming support. So generally, when you hit areas like this, we do tend to see buyers step in. So we might see some defense being played by bulls between 448 and 445. There might be some bulls trying to step in right here. I'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case. Apple's still doing a decent job. It did kind of reject right over here. I'll be watching to see if he holds 218 or not. We're still technically holding the key support. If 218 fails, there'll be a bigger dump coming, but we haven't lost that yet. And because we rejected off 224, we came down to 220. So far, we haven't lost critical support on Apple, so this is showing some strength. Lo and behold, the IWM did come down to 208 as we predicted. I think that what could be happening is we might be dipping right over here towards this support. 208 to 205 is where we'd like to get bought back up. So I'll be watching to see if we hold above 208. If not, we could be dipping down towards the 205, 206 area where we try to rebound. We will see how well it holds up around this area. So far, the IWM is approaching some key support. So it's not doing too bad of a job. Coinbase is not looking too good. We saw a really big dip on Coin. We've lost 150, so it's not looking that great. And there's no sign of a bounce yet on this. This could continue to just dump. I think the best thing to do is look at our daily charts, and you guys could see that we are approaching these gaps over here. We have a lot of gaps to fill, taking us all the way down to these much lower levels. I'll be watching this support right here. Right over here, we're looking at this support around 147. If that fails us, I'm looking for gap support over here around 138. So we have 147 coming as our support. If that fails us, we could be dipping for about 145. Then if that does not hold, we could be going all the way down to 138 before we see an attempt to bounce. But we still look bearish on Coin, unfortunately. Amazon's dipping to 172. We're still at support on the daily. The daily still has 170 as our main support. We're still range bound between the 250 EMAs. So watch 170 is our main support. We'll see if we bounce off this or not. If we don't bounce off that, we're going down to 167 before we try an attempt to bounce. So we're still range bound on Amazon. Meta is coming down looking a little bit weaker than Amazon. We're barely at 500, so we're going to be watching to see if 500 holds. If it does not hold, I could be looking for a dump down to about 490. So we'll see if 500 holds, give that some time. For Microsoft, we're dipping right now. We're basically going to be looking for essentially 400 as our main support. If that fails us, we'll be looking for 398, followed by the gap fill for 395. So I still see more downside potential around 400 for Microsoft. We'll see if that holds or not, but it's still looking very weak. For Google, we're also dipping right over here. We're continuing to fall. We're going to be looking for 152 as our main support. That's the level I called out since we lost 156. And if that does not hold, we're going to be looking for an attempt to get all the way down to 148. 150, then 148. Basically, it would be our next supports for Google. But 148 is going to be a big one as we have this gap support approaching. So we'll see if Google holds that. Watch 152 for the timing. We're still looking bearish. The market is still technically on a bit of a downtrend, could be dipping, but I presume we're going to be bottoming very soon. I think that there's going to be a nice opportunity for swings, possibly. We'll see if we could hold around 540, if not 538. And then going into next week, we'll be watching to see if we get that bounce very soon, either by the early days of next week or as soon as Monday. So we will have to wait and see. All right, guys. So be patient. We'll see how things end up going. As far as Tesla goes, yes, Tesla is bearish. It's been dipping. However, like I said before, we have not lost critical support just yet. We haven't lost our key support on the 4-hour time frame. That's going to be this big yellow trend line right over here. We haven't lost that yet. We're still technically holding it. So we'll see if Tesla holds this for now, and then we'll watch and see if we bounce off this next week. But like I said before, don't panic. We haven't lost critical support on Tesla. Tesla's a stock that could run 8 to 10% in a single day. It's very, very volatile. So even if it's down 7%, we could make a full recovery over the next couple of days, over a couple of weeks. So don't panic. It's going to be okay. And we're still holding key support. All right. With that being said, enjoy the rest of the trading day. It's about to end for the week. And I'll be back in a few hours to give you guys one more update. Thank you for listening and peace out.